Hi, I'm Zayford Beeblebrox and I'm the British Tech Guru. Wow, it's been another stinking hot day today and I still have a ton of this perishing stuff left. Oh my god, so the only thing I can do is drink it. It's nasty, but I paid for it, so I'm darn well gonna drink it. Anyway, the progress today, I went, oh my gosh, there's a tale for you. I went to change over the charge controller. Now, let me start at the beginning. Well, where is the beginning? Is there a beginning? Well, for this particular story, I have a school bus conversion that has two Group 31 batteries. Those things are expensive. And I paid, I believe, $300 5 or 6 years ago to buy two brand new interstate Group 31 batteries. Well, I tried to start the bus a couple of days ago, it having not moved for a couple of years, 4 years maybe, and it wouldn't start. So I checked the batteries, or rather I didn't check the batteries. I connected a charger to the batteries and I waited a couple of hours, tried to start it. First time I tried to start it, well, I turned the key, nothing, couldn't hear the brake booster, anything. So, okay, probably dead battery, let me charge it. So I charged it, a couple of hours, unplugged the charger, tried to start it, and I heard the starter solenoid, and that was it. Okay. So, no, it wasn't the starter solenoid, it's the starter relay solenoid. So I charged it a bit longer, and got click, 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 click from it. Well, that was clearly the starter solenoid. So the starter relay had fired and the starter solenoid was firing, but the starter wasn't going. So I left it to charge a bit longer and still nothing. And so I unplugged it, and the batteries are usually disconnected as they were then, just in case there's some parasitic power drain. Anyway, I checked them with the voltmeter a few days later, just to make sure they were in their proper rested state. 7 volts. Okay. Well, one of the reasons why they hadn't been kept charged was because I hadn't finished the solar charger circuit that was supposed to keep them maintained. Well, I'd got a charge controller there, it just wasn't wired through from underneath, from the charge controller to the batteries. The reason why that's not been done is because there's usually a great big wasp nest underneath, and I don't like fighting wasps. Okay, so since the battery's going to have to be replaced anyway, I thought, let me replace the charge controller with a decent charge controller. So I went to the Renogi website, because they sell some pretty decent charge controllers. They're all Chinese, but the quality control is a little bit better. So and actually Renogi is fairly decent to deal with. So anyway, I bought the cheapest of their PWM charge controllers. I don't need MPPT for a charge controller that's just going to maintain a battery and going to maintain it from a 10-watt solar panel. So I just got a 10 amp charge controller, 10 amp PWM charge controller, something called the Renogi Wanderer. And today I took the old charge controller out and installed the new one. Now the old one, I had got, there there were 4 attachment points and one had been broken in transit, and the seller was actually quite rude about it. So anyway, I took that down and today put up the Renogi charge controller. Now that was entertaining. I decided that rather than using self-drilling screws to attach it to the bodywork, I was going to use riv nuts. So that meant I could use my riv nut tool, or in fact my you can use to install a riv nut without a tool. You use a bolt and you put a washer, and you put a nut on, then a washer, then the riv nut. You hold the one end of the bolt. I'm sorry about the noise in the background, there's some jerk playing music. So anyway, put a wrench on the end of the bolt, and then you keep tightening the nut or loosening the nut, turning it away, and that squeezes the riv nut and then clamps it onto the sheet metal, just in the same way that when you squeeze the riv nut tool, you get the same effect. Anyway, so I installed that and I had all kinds of fun, and oh dear God, I wish he'd turn that silly music off. So oh, let me pause this. No. Okay, the nutter that was playing music is now gone. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. So I thought, let me screw this. Let me put the charge controller in using 632 riv nuts and 632 bolts, because the 632 bolts fitted nicely through the pre-drilled holes in the flange on the charge controller. Well, I found 3 632 riv nuts and 2 632 bolts. Well, I put the first first riv nut in, and of course the washer was too big, so it didn't work with the bolt method, so I had to find my riv nut tool. That took quite a while. Anyway, so I found my riv nut tool, changed the riv nut core over, and that didn't take too long, but I had to remember that it's a left-hand thread, so I had to tighten it in order to loosen it, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I got the riv nut, first riv nut in, and I've drilled to make the second riv nut, and there was a metal bar behind the panel, which meant I had to move it over, which meant then that I was probably not going to have enough riv nuts. So I had to raise it to, I believe, 1024 riv nuts, because that's what I had available. I thought I had some 832s, but I couldn't find 824s, but I couldn't find them. So 1024. Okay, so I had to drill out the holes in the screw holes in the flange, and of course that took a while. And of course, my Harbour Freight battery-powered drill died on me, and I could not find the charger. Well, that doesn't particularly bother me, because that particular battery, in fact I have 3 batteries for that drill. One isn't very good, one is terrible, and one is kind of sort of okay. It has never been, that was the black, is it Chicago Electric or black drill master with the nickel cadmium batteries. How do I know they're nickel cadmium? Because I opened the pack, I opened the battery pack to find out what they were, because they didn't have very much life in them. And as with everything Chinese, that drill isn't up to much. And of course I made the mistake with the previous one, when the battery died totally. I bought a new battery for it, and then the drill died a few weeks later. So I bought a new drill, and now these and it came with 2 batteries. Now these batteries are both dying, and I noticed that the chuck is beginning to slip. So obviously that's on its way out. So and they Harbour Freight has stopped selling the bits for that particular drill. So I can't get new chargers, can't get new batteries. It's pretty much dead in the water. Well, fine. So I just laid out a mains cable and used my power drill. And that's where we've got to so far today. Oh, and you forgot the best bit. I totally lost the entire morning. You realise that since COVID, not since I had COVID, but since COVID was around, majorly around, it's still around, but doesn't seem to be knocking people down like flies as it used to. But since COVID was majorly around, prices have rocketed and quality has dropped. Well, I kind of like jellied sweets or jellied candies, and I was given a pack of my favourite, and I found that they didn't taste quite the same as they did before COVID, and they have the unfortunate effect, if I eat more than 2, of sending me to the bathroom a lot. Well, obviously they've changed the formulation. Well, that's not particularly good. But then on the other hand, I was watching a video the other day, somebody showing some 5-year out-of-date canned food that they were sampling with the current canned food, and they noticed that the formulation was different. It looked a little bit more watery, and the taste was slightly different, and it wasn't as thick. So I think since COVID, all the manufacturers have been trying to scam us with cheaper versions of the same thing. So be careful when you buy stuff. And I don't know if they've made this cheaper. They can't have made it worse because it's pretty bad anyway. So yeah, just watch things. And this has been another gripping installment of the British Tech Guru. I'm Zayford Beeble Brooks, and I'll see you in the next video.